Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. How you going out there, guys? Well, there you go. Practice matches done and dusted, and we got a fair bit out of them. I don't know about you, but I've been chopping and changing my team, which I tell myself every year I won't do it, and then I find myself just throwing guys around, downgrading here, upgrading here. I don't know whether I want Tom Mitchell or not. I don't know whether I want Andy Brayshaw or Marcus Bontempelli. I don't know if I can trust Dacos enough or if it's a Sam Doherty job. I like my forward line. I like my forward line a lot. But even that, I've thrown it around. Like, can I get a bit of coin? We're going down from Cornelio to Cunnington. Free me up otherwise. Yeah. So much going on. But that's all right. It's all part of the fun of it. So I'm starting to feel a bit better about everything we've seen. Finally get some practice games. I feel like we learnt a lot, which I'll go through in a second. But even so, there are still a few things that, like, I wish we saw Bose play. That would have really helped out. And I wish we saw just a couple of other more full teams. I know clubs rest players for a reason, but just goes, gee, they played well. But is that how it's going to look in the proper? I don't know. But also had our draft today, which was good fun. I'll probably have this one uploaded on Monday, but gee, the draft is tense. There's not much small talk there. There's a bit of banter, but then bang, you're on the clock, and it's like, shit. 60 seconds goes mighty quick, particularly deep into the draft. And when a couple of people snag your player right before you, and you got to go back to the drawing board, start sweating bullets, I tell you. Oh, me and Langers also came up with a bet mid-draft. So it was like 2 picks in a row or something like that. And he went Bruin, and the very next pick, I went Horne-Francis. And we were sort of deep into the draft. Forward line was getting tough. And he was not a fan. A couple of boys were like, Horne-Francis. I was like, bro, he will out-average Bruin every day of the week. Didn't agree. Put a $50 wager on that bad boy. And I'm sticking with it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts out there. Bruin versus Horne-Francis. I'd like to think I know my cats pretty well, but so does Langers. Now, we'll be very interested to watch that one pan out throughout the season, but would love to hear your thoughts. Head to head, who would you take? And don't take the price into it. Price not consideration because it's just draft. Pure numbers. Anyway, let's take a look at this first game, Giants and the Suns. And this one definitely had a bit to work through. And I'll go through, like, Tom Green, I think he's just an out-and-out lock. If you weren't convinced already, fantastic stuff. Clearances, tackles, possessions. Like, it was just a lot. Like, he's going to be a star, and he looks like he's ready to go. Sam Flanders. Now, hello, Sammy. I did not think I'd be talking about you, but here you are. 30 touches. Really racked it up. I didn't see all of this game. I saw parts of it. I'm not selecting him, but that's just a bit of a feel for how my team is shaping up structure-wise. He couldn't have been more impressive. Gold Coast, of all clubs, probably had the most notable absentees out, so that's something to consider. But from what I could tell and what I could read, Flanders played a bit of a half-forward role, got around the stoppages at times, but you guys can probably fill me in a little bit better. I'm just steering clear. I probably prefer some other options in that price range in different lines. There's only so many mid-prices you can kind of have. So that's just the way I'm seeing it at the moment. But if you said, Shorty, I'm going to pick him, I'm not going to say, mate, you're an idiot, because that was an impressive pracky game, and that's all we can go by, really. And he's certainly a player that we've probably thought could be a quality star for a number of years. It's been a slow burn, and maybe he's about to arrive. So keep an eye on him. Lockie Whitfield, not going to pick him for Classic, but if you've got a draft coming up, he really looked back to his defensive halfback best, taking kickouts. Really looked good, so just someone to keep on your radar. Cornelio copped a pretty big knock, so it wasn't like a full game that we would have liked to see. Still a quality option, though. Finn Callahan, massively impressive. 22 touches, kicked a couple of goals, and just looked good. It's not always about the numbers. He just looked the part. So at that price, again, he's someone that you really have to consider. A former very high pick. I think he might have been picked 2 or 3 back in the day. So we know these guys have the talent. It's just about finding it consistently at AFL level. He didn't get it right with the body last year, so it's been tough for him. He looks like he's right to go. Very good option as well. Charlie Constable, I think he's just about made himself a lock. Never thought I'd see him off a halfback flank, but there you go. He's really made that position his own at Gold Coast, and a real handy one because a lot of us are going pretty light on in the back line, so that's super handy because we'll probably field him at certain stages this year. And then there probably weren't too many other guys. I'll scroll through and then revert to... Connor Stone could be... he's never going to set the world on fire scoring-wise, but not a bad footballer. Young, 123k in the forward line, where I'm feeling rookies around that price are pretty hard to find. Tom Berry, again, he's a forward line rookie, but I don't think he'll be in that round one team. He was okay, but again, I think there's a lot of players that will come back in that Gold Coast side and push him out. And Ben King, a few people talking about him, but half a game, kicked a snag, 4 touches. I just don't think we should start him, to be honest. I just think there's some far better options. Yeah, he can kick some goals and he'll be great for Gold Coast, but there are some really exciting draftees just lighting it up around a similar price range. I just really don't see any real need for it. Did we miss anyone? I don't think we did. No, we covered it off pretty nicely. So throughout these videos, if you think I've missed anyone, feel free to let me know. I've also got my SuperCoach draft, my SuperCoach group out. So I can't remember the league code off the top of my head, but hopefully I'll remember to put it in the description. If I don't, it's definitely in the most recent video as well. Also do a footy tipping comp. See various videos / comments to get involved in that. I will be releasing some leagues as well, so looking forward to dropping them. McRae and Bont, they stole the show, didn't they? They were just outstanding. Bont, just the impact he can have with 25 touches. He just doesn't need... We're talking about Tom Mitchell the other day and how he sort of needs 35 to really impact. Bontempelli just 10 clearances, a couple of goals. He is just looking peak. He looks fantastic. So I'm honestly going to try and find a way to snag him into my team. And McRae, you don't often get much value at over 600k, but at 115 price point, he's almost seemingly back to that position where he's going to go 120 plus again. So certainly a guy to strongly consider, and he played great footy. Bailey Dale's probably a really solid, unique option down back. Ben Cunnington, I really love your thoughts on Cunnington out there. I watched most of this game. High centre bounce attendance, did also rest at full forward at times, which they like to do, and there's a pretty strong midfield rotation with the youngsters at North. You've got your likes of Simpkin, you've got Phillips, you've got a few other young guys like Powell and obviously Davies Uniacke. Quite a few guys going through there. So I do like what I saw from him. For me, it was enough. 27 touches. Not exactly reflected in the scoring output, but again, he's another guy that I'm just tossing and turning with. I don't know which way I'm going to go with him. Sheasel looked super impressive. Played both halfback and forward. Come on, Clarko, let us know which one is it going to be. Because if he's halfback, absolute lock. If he's forward line, still probably a good option, but will have very difficult times in the forward line at North. But gee, very impressive. Looks a real smooth mover. Will Phillips, again, was pretty good. Not exactly a game that you go, I have to have him, but I do feel like he's going to be a pretty solid averager and will make us money, will play games. But yeah, Timmy English was just solid, didn't set the world on fire, but that's enough for me. He's been my ruck option along with Marshall for the whole pre-season, and that won't be changing for mine. Jack Zeeble, we probably wanted a bit more from him, I reckon. I think a few people off half back were sort of getting excited, and I'm not sure he did enough. I reckon we would have wanted to see a bit more kick-in action, a bit more quantity behind the possession count. Just 15 makes you, I don't know, you've got Luke McDonald, you've even got Josh Goder, and Aaron Hall will still come back into it. I just wonder if North Melbourne have progressed past Zeeble having to be the absolute key pillar down in the back line in terms of intercepting and switching and using the ball out of defence. So I think he'll still have some really quality days, but that year that he averaged 107, he was just the man. They needed a leader down there, and they needed him to do everything. Every ball seemed to go through Zeeble. I don't know if that's the case now. Probably need to see a bit more from him to select. Toby McLean definitely looked a good option. He's so cheap. 15 touches. Again, he's a guy that I think looks pretty solid on the job security. Look to be playing a bit of wing. Lockie Hunter leaves. It could be McLean, or he might play a bit forward at times as well. So he looks to be a pretty solid option. And then there probably wasn't stacks. I mean, Gota, I really wanted to see more from him. Again, he's someone who left my side to free up a little bit of coin. Again, he could still start in my team. But for now, I was sort of happy to just throw the magnets around. He didn't exactly convince me that he is a lock for their team and sort of a halfback role, but he's definitely a promising player. And then I don't think there was too much else. We'll double check on the old match report, but yeah, I always look forward to the Pracky games and you feel like you're going to learn a lot. Now it's a bit scary when you've seen the Pracky games and you're like, I'm still not sure on a couple of guys, and I'm just going to have to make an assessment because I'm not going to see any more footy. Yeah, I think we covered it off pretty well there. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on guys like Mitchell and Ben Cunnington. It'd be so interesting to hear your thoughts. But Melbourne and Richmond, again, I don't think we learnt too much. I think the role that Grundy and Gawn played would have told us plenty, but I'm just happy to be like, boys, this could be great for Melbourne. I don't want a bar of it for my SuperCoach team. I just think within that core unit of the ruck, they will be quality. Like, I think it'll be great for the Ds, but I think sometimes Gawn will play a role and Grundy will play a certain role, and throughout the year it might chop and change, and depending on the opponent, I think it'll just be too much of a split in the way they approach the ruck. So I'm just happy to play elsewhere. Like I said, I'm rolling English and Marshall in my ruck department. But otherwise, basically this game just confirmed a lot of what we already thought. Tim Taranto, lock. Oliver, lock. He's a superstar. Rioli's playing some good stuff off halfback, isn't he? And Hopper, I've heard a few people get a little bit concerned about it, but not for me. Without seeing this game, I mean, 9 clearances. He's just an in and under bull. He's going to average 90 easily. I think he's a lock. I mean, I don't know if people wanted more than that, but for me, lock and load him. I've got no worries about that. And then, a few people, I see Dusty in a few teams, but it's a straight up no for me. I don't think there's any need to go after Dusty. He's going to play a lot more time forward. Because I pick it, if you've got any draft leagues out there, did play a bit more midfield in this game, so could be a sneaky late draft selection just to have a little bit of a think about. Then I'm not sure if there was too much else. I know that Judd McVee might have been a guy that a few people saw on the old rookie list, but didn't do stacks. So yeah, that's about it at the moment. I don't know about you guys, but I am still racking my brain more than ever. We've got what have we got? 11 days, 10 days, whatever it is when I post this. It's not much time, and I've got some thinking to do. Do I just blank canvas it, just reset the team and go from scratch? Do I chop and change? Got no idea at this point. Got no idea, but I'm just going to cruise for the rest of the night anyway. Big week ahead, Sunday scaries, and just chill out for the rest of the night. But very much looking forward to a busy couple of weeks on the videos, hopefully. And then really just finding a bit of structure and routine as we roll out the weekly vids. Footy will be back. It'll be great. So, yeah, if you've got any questions, as always, I got back to a fair few comments today, but hoping and trying to get through to as many of those as I can when I get the chance. And we will endeavour to go live at some stage next week, in the week leading up to the first bounce. So that should be a bit of fun as well. But like I said, if you want to get involved in Shorty's group, either this comment section or a previous video or two would definitely have it. And same goes for the footy tipping. So thanks for all your support as always, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.